They did this just to see how tough I was. They broke me for the rest of my life, and pretty messed up.
Jeez.
But I got back from the surgery, and my doctor, uh, he was a piece of work. He was drinking cocaine in his coffee, and he was tripping. Uh,
Damn.
but yeah, my surgery, you take the pedicles, they're the hooks that come out of your spine, out of
Mhm.
your disc, and there's the pedicles come out. They mill them off, and they drill in on either side of the spinal column, and they screw in long bone screws, and which are like this long, 3 inches, 4 inches long, and then they uh, bolt it all together. And this guy starts tripping. He got through the first operation, the front one, okay. He was having trouble, but he made it through. The second one, my guides, the day before, they're in my room shouting at me, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it."
Yeah.
And
Because you had the
after,
premonition you mentioned in the last
yeah,
conversation where he thought he would be butchering a pig, right?
yeah, he thought he was butchering a pig, man. He just started tripping balls. And, um, you know, uh, a reporter from the Dallas Morning Star interviewed him, and he hired a private detective to find me to tell me how lucky I was to be alive. And um, you know, he had killed several people in other states, lost the license to practice in 2 or 3 states, and just kept moving state to state. And
Did they ever get any kind of testimony on what his state of mind was, what he like claimed to be going through, or is there any look into what his mind was like as just an individual? Because that's pretty fucked.
well, Senator Ted Lyons and I of Texas uh, made sure that he didn't practice anymore. That he
Yeah.
got his license taken away. Um,
There's too many doctors who get away with malpractice. It's fucking insane.
Well, malpractice is one thing, but out and out killing
Yeah.
people is a
Yeah.
whole new thing, just from ego and from being
Negligent.
too high, too negligent to do your job, And
So much of
so
this is
that's the
drugs.
sad thing. Yeah. Well, when I came home and he had me on fentanyl, of all things, the drug that's killing everybody now, and he put me on fentanyl patches, Jura patches, and
I just learned about those the other day, actually. I had no idea that. I'm learning a lot about fentanyl in recent years, and that you could like literally take the patches and chew through them. Like,
right,
fucking
yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah, you can smoke them, man. You can put them in a pipe and smoke them. You can do all kinds of stuff.
And nobody out there do this. This is not a step by step
No,
how to, but this is also like people should know how this works because people need to know the dark side of life. For all the happiness we need to focus on, it's also like this is how the real world works.
yeah. At this point, I'm talking 30 years ago, 35 years ago, and this was the new drug that was going to cure everyone's pain. And, he was all for it, except he couldn't prescribe it because his DEA license had been seized. So he had to have somebody else prescribe it. But yeah, it was pretty much downhill from there. And I remember shooting a video and telling uh, my widow Pam, um, I can honestly see how people could kill themselves from the pain. You know, I can honestly see that. I can feel that. I would prefer, if I had a choice, to have not come through it. You know, and which immediately broke her down and myself as well. But this is where it was. I mean, this was, you know, I mean, dude, there's a lot to that whole thing. I mean, I was given halothane or no fluorothane,
What's
and
that?
it's an anesthesia that my family was allergic to.
Oh,
And if one of you is allergic to it, you're all allergic to it. And then there
Jesus.
was two of them, halothane and fluorothane. And I told him don't use either one of those. And of course, he used fluorothane. So I got fluorothane for 10 hours the first surgery and fluorothane for 14 hours for the second surgery because they wrestled him to the ground, uh, the one that was working on me. And they took the scalpels and stuff out of his hands. And because he was acting on me really good.
Jesus. So it was like it was a fucking scene. It wasn't just like in the room by himself. Found out later. He was like he making enough rackets for other people to be like, what the fuck is happening?
They tackled him. They literally pulled him off of me and brought in an emergency surgeon to uh, patch me up and close me.
That is so
So
fucking horrifying.
yeah, it was pretty bad. My spirit guides were right. Yeah. 2020 did a story on him and they called him Doctor Death. They did two shows on him and called him Doctor Death.
Send me that information. I'll post it up. Cause fuck that. That is some
Well, yeah.
insane
There's a
shit.
show called Doctor Death out of orthopedic surgeon out of Texas, and they swear he's got a different name, but I would just venture to say that the story is actually about the man that did this to me, and his name's Bruce Stanton Hinckley.
Tell him how they found
And
him at his house.
yeah, I will. Uh, when he lost his license, so they started piss testing him all the time, once a week. And so he opened up his own little piss testing store. you know,
Jesus.
yeah. So he piss tested himself, and what do you know? He came out clean every time.
It's like
And
having the cops investigate themselves.
yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Pretty much. The AMA, they'll stick by you thin and thin, but through thick and thin. I mean, and that's just how it is. Uh, but when they got him, arrested him, and stopped him from working, he and his wife had been out in a field naked, laying down in the dirt, snorting coke, and they were waiting for the cartel to come kill them because I guess they owed a whole lot of money in cocaine, just tons. And this is his words, not mine. Okay, so I'm not slandering this man. This is
Yeah.
all public record. Okay. So anybody that says, "Hey, he was my cousin," and I'm going to get you, um, read all the documents, read the court documents, read the testimony, and it's all public record. So right back at you. He tried to kill me. Um, Nearly succeeded. Uh,
In the field.
yeah. So thank you. And they got up and came out of this field and walked into these people's house and went into the refrigerator and started making sandwiches. And this couple come in, and there they are, naked, dirty, um, making sandwiches in their kitchen.
Full
Oh,
snap.
sorry, man, we got hungry, we couldn't wait any longer. Cartel's coming to kill us. Blah 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 blah.
They'll be here any minute. Keep an eye out for the door, please.
Can you keep an eye out? And where do you keep the mayo? I need some pickles and some wax rings here.
Where's the
And
pisser?
yeah, so needless to say, there was an arrest or two, and that was when the AMA stopped backing. When it got so outrageous and so preposterous that this man's actually thinking that some cartel is going to come get him, and
Was it all in his head?
I'm sure everything else was in his head. I mean, you know, do I know? I have no clue. That's none of my business. And if you're a cartel, hey, God bless you. Do the right thing. Help your community. But as far as he goes, I never really believed a word he said. So
Well, that's the thing with I've just been noticing so much in drugs, and like myself going through literally years of everybody's trying to get me, people are hunting me down. It's such a prevalent thought pattern, and it can get
yeah,
so fucking specific out of nowhere.
yeah, it's somebody else's. It's not me. I didn't do it. I love the little Bart song. Da 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 da. Didn't do it, and because that's a key. That's a way of life for a lot of people, and for the majority of people. I didn't do it. Prove it. Got film of that? Okay, it didn't happen. Got picture, it didn't happen, pal.
Yeah.
And allegedly. So yeah. So anyways, that was a bad thing, and that was a man in a position of power who had power over your life or your death, who was impaired to the point to where reality was no more. His reality had gone into a hallucination, a deep hallucination, and a dangerous hallucination for all. And what if he decided to kill those people for those sandwiches, or um, make a sandwich out of a child? You don't know what variation of awful, awful things the mind can go from one thing, click, 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 a bad thought, 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 to a worse thought, to a worse thought, to a darker thought.
I had an aunt who she's completely bad shit right now. She's in the process of disowning everybody, so I'll tell the story. But I think it was 20 plus years ago. She was dating a Hell's Angels, maybe even been married, had a kid with him. But I was actually talking to my grandma about it earlier today, and she was just like, it never made sense. She was like, he was in the Hell's Angels, he did all the shit he did, but he was just never the type that would tie up his own mother and drive a machete through her fucking head and threatened to kill his own children and chop them up. And this man fucking did all that. And so much of it is the drugs. That's what she's saying. She's like, it was the coke and the meth. And, even though they're not technically hallucinogens, they will put you in an altered state of conscious. That is not this one. And there's a lot.
With the awakening, no, please. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you.
No, that was essentially the thought. It's just people need to understand the varying degrees of hallucinations, what that's actually like, what that can bring on, the chasing of the dragon. Because I think a lot of people who don't do drugs, which is becoming exceedingly less, but if you're not doing drugs, keep up the good lifestyle because it's honestly way better.
Yeah, you bet. I'm still weaning myself off of this self-medication thing. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And it was a hard road. At my worst, I was doing 30 grams of coke a day. So,
I'll assume maybe half a gram to a gram at one point, but yeah, I never had it that good.
Yeah. The word spun comes to mind. And, I know I'm put myself in danger from saying that, but this is the past. We all have a past.
Mm-hmm.
And this is no longer the case. So,
and people need to feel open with their past. That's again really what I want this channel to be. Is like, well, the pieces of shit, please step up. Not your piece of shit. It's just people who've done shitty things, seen shitty things, gone through some shit. Those are the ones that feel like they need to keep to themselves and stay anxious and beat themselves up on the time when it's like, No, the world really wants to and needs to hear from people with those types of stories the most, because
Yeah.
we all know what's fucking happening. We all know what's going on around us, but we still have this weird closed door policy, even though everything's gone to anarchy and war, and we're all becoming so much normalized to so much anyways. It's like, why not lift up the veil and be like, this is what drug addiction looks like. These are what hallucinations do. This is what interdimensional contact does. This is what voices in your head is like. This is what seeing the shadows twitch is like. Like, let's explore all the varying angles of it, the psychological, the metaphysical, like all of it, because it's all relevant in some form of fashion and can help somebody because.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Could that be what the verse? It's like, the meek shall inherit the earth. Is that the proper definition of meek?
In this episode of American Greed, Christopher Dunch is a young spine surgeon with a big salary and an ego to match.
They thought they had a young, hot neurosurgeon with cutting-edge skills and excellent training.
But instead of helping patients, he hurts them badly.
I mean, it was the worst. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it.
Leaving one after another maimed, paralyzed, even dead.
First thing I remember is not being able to move.
What was going through my head at that time was, what did he do to me?
And yet this killer surgeon keeps on operating. American Greed sits down with some of those closest to the story to find out what drives Dunch's reign of terror. From the delusions of grandeur.
Anyone close to me thinks that I am likely something between God, Einstein, and the Antichrist.
To the mounting debts.
Surgery was his out. That was how he was going to make his big bucks.
To the hospitals that pass the buck, according to lawsuits.
When hospitals look at somebody like Christopher Dunch, I think they see dollar signs.
Leaving Dunch's victims at the mercy of the man now known as Dr. Death. In March 2012, a school librarian goes to a Dallas hospital for a routine back surgery and bleeds to death. 3 months later, another patient comes to another hospital for a neck surgery, where she suffers a stroke and later dies. The day after this operation, a third woman goes under the knife hoping to fix her back issues, then wakes up screaming in pain. What all three have in common is surgeon Christopher Dunch, seen here in a cramped interrogation room at Dallas Police Headquarters.
You moved here from, was it Tennessee, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you just started, you did all your schooling there and then came?
Yeah, med school, PhD, graduate school, residency, fellowship in spine.
It all sounds impressive. But a prosecutor will say that in Dallas, Dunch injures 33 out of 38 patients in less than 2 years. And now the once promising doctorate has gone from an operating room to an interrogation room.
Hi, Dad, this is Christopher. I was supposed to go home tonight, as you know, and I'm not now. Unexpectedly, the police came and picked me up regarding the DA issues that I mentioned to you. This is the phone of one of the detectives. If you would please call him back, he'll tell you what's going on. I had no idea what's going on with Bond and what's going to happen next, so I'll call you as soon as I can. Love you, thanks.
Christopher Dunch's career as a doctor starts many years earlier in Memphis, Tennessee. There, he completes a joint MD-PhD program and a neurosurgery residency at the University of Tennessee at Memphis College of Medicine. Then he remains in the city to complete a spine surgery fellowship.
His resume is about 12 pages long, so he looks really good on paper, exactly the kind of doctor that you'd be looking for.
In all, Dunch spends 15 years in med school, his residency, and his fellowship, a process meant to ensure he's got what it takes. Martin Lazar is a Dallas neurosurgeon who first reviewed some of Dunch's cases on behalf of plaintiffs' attorneys.
When you operate on the brain or the spinal cord, a good job has to be a damn good job. It can't just be journeyman.
But Dunch's resume reveals an overwhelming interest in the PhD part of his dual MD-PhD degree. With his name on multiple academic papers, patents, and biotech startups, he has clearly met with some early success, and he doesn't keep it to himself. In emails, he describes himself as a supernova sophisticated savant and the best surgeon and scientist and every thing I decide I want to be.
I can't remember how he phrased it once, having like God knowledge, I believe is how he referred to his knowledge. That was like, one of our problems.
In her first television interview, Wendy Young tells American Greed she meets the up-and-coming spine surgeon in Memphis one late night.
I had worked at a strip club before. I've seen him around. I thought he was cute. And then, it was like towards the end of the night, it was very loud and all the girls were over there. I think they knew he was a doctor. So, of course, that's where you're gonna go for your money.
Dunch and Young will eventually have 2 children together. But by the time they meet, the up-and-coming doctor is facing a mounting pile of debt. Bankruptcy records later show that he owes $112,000 on one student loan and $19,000 on another, $127,000 on a home, and he has debts to his father that will grow to equal $220,000. All added up, Dunch is nearly $500,000 in the hole.
I think he learned very early on that research maybe wasn't where he was going to be making his money. And so surgery was his out. That was how he was going to make his big bucks.
If Dunch's goal really is making big bucks, he's chosen the right specialty.
The amount of money that a hospital gets for what we do is in the millions and millions of dollars for a single neurosurgeon.
Dunch is recruited to work as a spine surgeon in Dallas in 2010. His starting salary, $600,000 a year plus bonuses. Kay Van Wey is an attorney who will later represent many of Dunch's patients.
He was dead broke when he came to Dallas. Here was an opportunity for him to start right off with a very, very handsome salary and with opportunity to make tens of millions of dollars.
At first, Dunch will operate at Baylor Medical Center at Plano, now called Baylor, Scott, and White.
They thought they had a young, hot neurosurgeon with cutting-edge skills and excellent training, and therefore he would be a very profitable addition to their medical staff.
They're not alone in thinking they've landed a catch.
Dallas is originally where I'm from, and I decided, if you go to Dallas, I'll go with you. In the beginning, he talked about marriage. I'm Mr. Prince Charming, I'm gonna change your life. I left with him and then believed in him, and then, he just kind of fell apart.
Now in Texas and about to start a $600,000 a year job, young surgeon Christopher Dunch seems to be feeling confident. In an email, he says he's come to the city to do my thing, build my empire, party and with models without knowing their names to make money. Doing so involves something Dunch seems to be good at, self-promotion, including this paid infomercial.
I treat all patients non-surgically at first, if at all possible. And then if they fail that sort of stage of the process, then they come back to me to discuss surgical options.
But Dunch has other ways of letting everyone know just how good he is.
When he was in conversations with colleagues, he would just talk about his training. He was going to be the greatest minimally invasive spine surgeon in Dallas. And he came down to Dallas to clean everything up because most of the work here was being done wrong. These were extraordinary statements coming out of the mouth of someone that just got finished training. I'd never heard anyone talk like that in my entire career.
If Dunge's words to his colleagues are troubling, they're nothing compared to the deeply delusional thoughts he shares in private. In December 2011, he writes the following in an email. Anyone close to me thinks that I'm likely something between God, Einstein, and the Antichrist. Because how can I do anything I want and cross every discipline boundary like it's a playground and never, ever lose? What I am being is what I am. One of a kind. A mother stone-cold killer that can buy or own or steal or ruin or build whatever he wants. 3 weeks after Dunge sends this rant, vascular surgeon Randall Kirby operates alongside Dunge, giving him the chance to evaluate the new arrival's self-proclaimed skills.
I mean, he could not wield a scalpel.
We were planning her memorial. We feel kind of lost. We knew the autopsy was being done, but we really didn't know what to expect and what we were going to find.
What we were told at that point in time was that she had an allergic reaction to the anesthesia.
Oddly, the medical examiner couldn't find 100% exactly the cause of it. It was a medical miscalculation, meaning it was an accident or not an accident.
Her body went to the funeral home, and we were going to do the viewing a day later. Then my father received a call saying that the medical examiner needed the body back.
When we were told that they had to do another autopsy, I was just really confused. I didn't understand why. I thought it was odd.
My dad asked me to come with him to get the information about the second autopsy. There was some conflicting information that we were provided with, that my mother didn't have allergic reaction. The answers weren't really adding up, and nobody was on the same page.
And so when we heard that, I'm thinking, what's going on?
And at one point, my dad went out into the parking lot with the medical examiner, and he, said, "Dawn, I really think you need to get an attorney."
The day of the surgery, it was just basically me and my wife. We had to be there at 6:30 in the morning, the first surgery of the morning. It's still dark outside. We get in the car to go.
We had to get up extremely early that morning, and on the way out, we encountered a black cat ran out in front of us. And we lived in a gated community, and as soon as we went through the gates at the front entrance, another black cat ran out in front of us.
The second one, my guides the day before shouting at me, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it."
So at this time, I'm like, maybe we need to turn around and go back to the house. This is a sign or something. And when we got to the hospital, there was one more. So 3 black cats on the way to get neck surgery. So that's, if there was a sign, that was my sign, not to get surgery that day.
I was notified by the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. I think Michelle Sugar contacted me and saying that we're aware of Kelly's case, sorry for your loss, and we are pursuing criminal charges against Dr. Christopher Dunge for this injury to an elderly lady in Dallas, along with all these other cases. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process, and we want to utilize Kelly's case to help prove that Dr. Dunge was doing this in an intentional manner. And I think I probably broke down and cried when I finally heard that somebody got us. Somebody listened to us. You took all those injuries to those people, and it just felt like you're on an empty island and you were found, and a prayer was answered. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, but at least they took up the battle, and I couldn't have been so more thankful for that.